Okay, I'm going to show you now how we find percentages of numbers. Now there's different ways that we can do this, and this is the way that we use at school. So I'm going to start by, obviously again, when we've got a real understanding of what percentage of a number is and what 10% of a number actually means and what it looks like, this is how we would solve it. So to say, let's say 10% of 520. What we do is we know that 10% is 1/10 of 100, 100% is the whole of the number, so we're finding a tenth of the number. So we're saying 520 divided by 10, which would give us 52. So therefore 10% of 520 is 52. If we said 10% of, let's say, 800, we're saying what's 800 divided by 10, which would be 80. So actually finding 10% of a number is really, really easy. Even if we have, maybe let's say we had a number like 35. Again, all we're doing is we're saying 35, we're dividing it by 10, finding 1/10 of 35, which would give us 3.5. Using our knowledge of place value and what happens when we're making a number 10 times smaller, 3.5. So therefore 10% of 35, 10% of 35 equals 3.5. Okay, so that's a really, really good starting point. That's where, in fact, we must always start when we're finding percentages of numbers. So for example, if I then wanted to find 15% of a number, let's say I wanted to find 15% of 400, I always start with finding that key 10%. So find 10% of 400 first of all. So I take 400 and I divide it by 10, which gives me 440. Keep that piece of information, keep that for now. Now, if I know what 10% of a number is, I can work out what 5% of a number must be. What have I done to 10 to get to 5? I've halved it, that is dividing by 2. What do I need to do to my answer for 40? I need to halve it, divided by 2, to give me 20. Now, I'm not quite finished yet because it wasn't 10% or 5% I wanted to find. I wanted to find 15. So I know 10% and I know 5%. So what I just need to do is add them together. And therefore 15% of 400 will give me 40, plus 20 will give me 60. Okay, let's have a look at another one where it's 15% again. So if I wanted to find, let's say, 15% of 84, always start with finding 10%, which will give me 8.4. And then I must find 5%. So if I know 10%, I can very easily work out 5% by just halving it. Half of 8.4, half of 8, half of 0.4, put them back together. Okay, so I know the answer to 10% and I know the answer to 5%. I wanted to find 15%, so I've just put them back together. It's going to be 8.4 plus 4.2, which is going to give me 12.6.